Wilbur's.
Oh, jeez.
Zoinks!
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
Joey got the popcorn ready. Alex got the notes in hand. Tim's got puns that fly like confetti. They're your go-to movie band. Video game movie club. Laugh until the credits roll. Joey Alex, Tim will dub. Scenes that make you lose control.
And we are back, seemingly, with the mystery team, or whatever the hell they were called.
The Mystery Machine. Come on, man.
Oh, well, it's been a long time since I've watched Scooby-Doo. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Really good. I really, really liked how well You Son of a Bitch I'm In linked into the theme tune. And when you edit this, please make sure you include it.
When I was last time I went to the States on the topic of Scooby-Doo, you know when you're on a plane and you're kind of looking around at everyone else's screens to see, I might watch that, I might watch that. The kid in front of me watched Scooby-Doo and the WrestleMania Mystery on loop for the entire flight. It got to the point that I could kind of tell where we were in the flight based on his position in the movie.
I love that. That's great.
That's
my
incredible.
favorite story like that is when we were little, Alex. We went. I think I might have told it on Two Blokes from Blighty a while ago. When we went to America, and it was like a 9.5-hour flight, and Tim's screen was locked to Eight-Legged Freaks, and he was, how old were you at the time? About 12.
I couldn't have been older than 12, 13, maybe.
So he wasn't allowed to watch Eight-Legged Freaks. So our dad swapped seats with him so Tim could watch whatever stuff he wanted to. But it meant our dad was sat there and watched Eight-Legged Freaks back to back like 3 or 4 times. And if you've ever seen Eight-Legged Freaks, it is a bad movie.
It's a bad movie.
Not good.
Well, it's not good, but it's also better than a movie we're going to speak about.
Yeah, so we're not here to talk about Scooby-Doo. We're not here to talk about Eight-Legged Freaks yet. We are here to talk about 2008's Max Payne. Now, let's start with the easy question. Gentlemen, what's your experience of the Max Payne franchise? Joey?
I played through and completed Max Payne 1 and 2, and I've played probably half of Max Payne 3. I loved Max Payne when it was out on the PlayStation 2. I thought it was an awesome game, and whilst looking back on it, like the storyboard cutscenes, they were quite obviously people from the developer taking photos in the office, done in the most cheap way possible, but it was like bombastic, over-the-top, wannabe film noir, but delivered in a way that was perfect. I loved Max Payne. It was so, so good a game franchise.
Tim?
The same, to be honest. I played a lot of Max Payne 1, played a lot of Max Payne 2. The Max Payne 1 face still is burned into my memory.
It's
Max
a JPEG,
Payne,
isn't it?
It's a JPEG, and it looks like he's chewing a lemon.
It's the writer. The writer of Max Payne is the face of Max Payne.
And then Max Payne 3, I didn't touch because it did not look interesting, though. As a quick sidetrack thing, I normally like to have letterboxed on one of my monitors here when we do cutscenes so I can remind myself of movie details. I can't seem to escape Mark Wahlberg. I've got 3 pictures of him on letterboxed in front of me. Alex, what about you, though?
Yeah, I think about the same as you guys. I played it on the original Xbox, and I think I got Max Payne 2 when I got a 360, and I think I played a little bit of Max Payne 3, but it was that long ago now I couldn't tell you anything apart from the storyboard, which was mental.
Well, it was it seems the only thing they spent money on was the voiceover. I know it's quite a famous voice actor that does the I'm Max Payne, and each bullet is an exclamation mark in my story, blah, blah. It's Jake McCaffrey, you're right.
Yeah.
So they spent money on Jake McCaffrey, and he spent money on developing the bullet time mechanic in-game before The Matrix did it in their game.
Which in turn was inspired by John Woo movies.
Massively inspired by John Woo movies. Something that you would not get if this film was your first foray into the franchise.
That's a game that we should do on the podcast at some point. It's John Woo's Stranglehold. It is bad.
I don't think I've ever played it.
the bullet time thing, for the audience who don't know what bullet time is, essentially it's the main character or a character in the film or whatever will do a big jump or a dodge or something, and time slows down as they dodge bullets or whatever. Stranglehold is a game by John Woo, and John Woo arguably pioneered the bullet time trope in media. But imagine a multiplayer shooter where everyone can bullet time, and think about how that would perform in a multiplayer lobby.
Well, there's been more modern shooter games that have had a similar mechanic to that
but this is the
multiplayer
core
lobbies.
Mechanic.
This is the only mechanic.
Oof.
Everyone can bullet time.
That sounds great. But
what if every shooter was laggy?
What if it was intentional as well? But this film came out between games 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 came out in 2012. Yeah, there was. But this film came out 4 years before Max Payne 3. So, yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So we're all pretty familiar with the game, as I'm sure a lot of people listening to this probably are, because the original Max Payne was quite well received in its day. If you went back and played it now, maybe not so much, but I saw something somewhere, I think it was on the Wikipedia page for it, that it was quite regularly touted as one of the greatest games of all time at the time. By today's standards, not so much, but back then, certainly. And it was a cracking game. But here we are.
Here we are.
But here we are, about to talk about the movie. So, let's go over some quick details. As we mentioned, in 2008, it released, which is about 5 years after the second game. Directed by John Moore, who is also known for directing Behind Enemy Lines, Flight of the Phoenix, one of the Omen films, and A Good Day to Die Hard. None of which I've seen.
It's okay. It's an okay resume.
Yeah, I was surprised to see so few, but here we are. It's starring, we've got Mark Wahlberg as Max Payne. The
cast list for this is massive.
I'm an inventor Wahlberg.
It's got Mila Kunis as, Mona Sachs, a Russian-American assassin. Beau Bridges as BB, obviously named for himself. Hensley, because I think he was a director on it as well, wasn't he, Beau Bridges? Or he was some kind of creative force on it, and I guess decided he wanted to be named after a character. We've got Kate Burton as Nicole Horn, who might be the most pointless character in the entire film. We have got the one and the only Ludacris as...
That was a complete left turn as soon as he came on screen.
It was insane.
I didn't know how to recover.
As a internal affairs officer who is investigating Max Payne, and we've got I'm probably going to butcher this, Amaury Nolasco, as Jack Lupino, former Marine Corps, and the earliest test subject of the titular drug of the film called Valkyrie.
You are missing one from there, Chris O'Donnell as well.
Who was he in it again? Oh, he was, the name's gone.
He was the SWAT team leader.
That's it.
Do you know the voice actor for Max Payne, Jake McCaffrey, is the FBI director in this film?
What a shame that he put his name to this film.
Yeah, I know. I know what'll tarnish my reputation.
So this movie had a $35 million budget, and go on, have a guess. Have a guess at how much it made in box office.
So before I watched this film again, I watched the trailer, and the trailer is excellent. The trailer makes it look competent. I think people were suckered in, like me, who went to the cinema to watch it. I think it made 125 mil, is my guess. I think,
given the fact that it got a sequel, I'm going to say 85 million.
Yeah, Tim's pretty much hit it on the head there. 85.8 million.
Ooh,
you could not have been closer. I didn't know it had a sequel, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, there's
a future episode.
There's actually 6 Max Payne movies.
But this is the Mark Wahlberg verse.
Yeah, sorry. There's 2 Mark Wahlberg. So there's Max Payne. These are all of the names. They're really good. Max Payne Hero, Max Payne Retribution, Max Payne Days of Revenge, Max Payne Darkest Days, and then the last one is just called Pain and Redemption.
Why do they sound like Marvel films?
The top review on Letterboxd is, why in the drugged out vision of hell does this movie have a post-credit scene? Did they think they'd get a sequel? Yes, 5 of them, actually.
To the point of that review, Rotten Tomatoes got a 15%, citing
way
that,
too high.
citing that it had stylish action but an illogical plot, which I think is half right, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there was something I wanted to say about the film adaptation that I've completely forgotten, but that's
It'll come
fine.
back to you, don't
It'll
worry.
come back.
I'm sure it's somewhere else in my notes.
Maybe take some Valkyrie and that'll really trigger your senses.
I'll be
Either
fine
turn
after
you
some
into a
Valka.
crackhead.
Yeah, that's it. And on that,
It's already
let's go into the synopsis of...
Are you ready for a one-sentence synopsis?
Are you removing the word film from this because it's not a good film?
So I've asked our old fourth co-host ChatGPT to help me out here with the synopsis. Detective Max
It's
Payne
set
is
on
a brood.
fire.
I've never seen AI cry before, but it did.
I've never seen ERR come up on ChatGPT, but here we are. Right. Detective Max Payne is a brooding cop haunted by the brutal murder of his wife and child. Obsessed with finding those responsible, he becomes a pariah within the police force and delves deep into New York's criminal underworld. Don't remember him diving into very much, to be
Are
honest
you
with you.
sure you haven't got the... Because that is from the game as well.
I told it says Detective Max Payne, brackets, played by Mark Wahlberg. So it knows what it's talking about.
I mean, it is sort of the start. It's just that
The start of the movie is the same.
Well, no, because the start. Sorry to derail this so quickly, Alex. The start of the game is Max Payne getting home and going, Michelle, baby, because I don't even think they named the baby.
No, they just call it baby, and in the movie they put baby on the door to really punctuate that point.
Really punctuate it, but. It's just Max Payne coming in and going, Michelle, no! And she's dead in like all of about 4 pixels worth of blood. Is just wonderfully, wonderfully cheesy. In this, that scene happens, but it happens probably an hour and 5 minutes into the film.
The movie, by the way, runs for an hour and 30 minutes.
Hold on. We'll come on to that in the next section. The runtime of the film.
Yeah, so his investigation leads him to let me try again. His investigation leads him to a powerful pharmaceutical company called Acer and a dangerous new street drug called Valkyr, which gives the users violent hallucinations and superhuman strength and makes them immortal and makes them really fast and makes them shoot really well. It does a lot of things. When Max is framed for multiple murders, including that of a mysterious woman named Natasha Sachs, he must go on the run to clear his name. Teaming up with Natasha's sister Mona Sachs, who seeks her own revenge for Natasha's death, Max uncovers a conspiracy linking his family's murder to the Valkyr drug product. The film culminates in a violent showdown where Max takes vengeance on those responsible and finds some measure of closure, though still scarred by his past.
The link between the pharmaceutical company and Max's family is that his wife fucking worked there. She was employed by them.
In
and
the
she
game,
didn't ask once how work was, it seems.
In the game, remind me, Tim, didn't they spray paint the pharmaceutical logo on the wall?
Yes. And are you telling me that out of all the bodies that came up with the wing tattoo that Max kept finding in the movie, he didn't once go, well, that looks a bit like my dead wife's company? That's weird.
It clearly shows that it was a failed marriage and they didn't really talk, doesn't it?
But they had a baby called Baby, so that's good for them.
Yeah. Sorry, Alex, we interrupted you again.
No, it's quite all right, because I think that's what this entire movie needs, is interruptions.
This plot is dumb and shallow, and I hate it. It's awful.
It was the loosest idea of a plot that you could imagine, which is a shame, because Max Payne, the video games, had plot.
Yeah, they had like a whole murder mystery conspiracy thing, and this tried
it was a
that.
proper film noir.
But all it came down to was, let me sip this bottle of blue Tizer and get really strong or get really hooked on it. And then they're like, oh my god, they're super soldiers. But that doesn't stop bullets, it seems, because the guy who murdered... Spoilers, by the way. The guy who murdered Max Payne's wife just gets shot in the chest and falls over.
God, that guy. He said about 2 words the whole film, and then the rest of the time it was just foreboding shots of him looking downwards at people.
Yeah, he was just wearing, like, Jin Kazama's jacket from Tekken 4 and a hood and holding a sword, which I expected him to use, and then he hit a meth head with it, and
Do
then...
you know what really fucked me off about this film? Like, really fucked me off. So I'm going to get into the runtime thing in a minute. The first shot of this film, Mark Wahlberg in the water going, "There's dead people all around me. They're so close, sometimes I can feel their touch.
They're trying to drag me down."
It's a little bit of the, I bet you're wondering how I got here. And I thought, looking at that shot, I thought, by Jove, I do wonder how he got there. But everything was so dull and boring and slow. I don't think a bullet's fired for the first half an hour of this film.
No, and
it's insanely dry.
Your comment there about his monologue being like, "There's a lot of people down here," is that where the entirety of New York's population has gone?
Yes.
Because I haven't.
Yes.
I think I saw more people in New York in Vanilla Sky than this movie.
Yes. The other thing that's really funny about this movie is it's based over quite a short amount of time. But I think what happened is someone watched Sin City and went, "Do you know what looks really cool? But really white snow that's really obvious." And then someone went, "Do you know what's really expensive that we don't want to get too much of? So we'll just put loads of rain instead."
Really white snow.
Rain. But it was just like 1 minute it was really, really snowy. The next it was pissing down with rain. Then it was really snowy. Then it was pissing down with rain. There was nothing in the middle.
I'm going to give this film my only credit for the movie. I'm getting it out the way now. Some shots looked pretty good. Some did.
The first shot.
Well, there's the scene where Mark Wahlberg, and I keep looking over to my letterbox page of Max Payne. There's a review here that just says if he had more hair, he'd be called Mark Wahlbag, which I'm absolutely going to start calling it from now on. So it's the scene where Mark Wahlberg is driving his car out of the city over the bridge. And I thought, that's quite a stylized shot. And from that point onwards, I was like, oh, they're going for a comic book look. They're going for a comic book look. But then they went to like the green washed out color palette of the second Matrix movie and didn't seem to come away from it.
This film is obviously made, shot and directed and edited by someone who went, quite like action films. I think I'm just going to do
that for the first half.
No, I think I'm just going to do all of them in one. Like, it doesn't make any sense. There was a point, and I'm skipping right towards the end, where Max thinks that only, as often we do, the only way to get out of this situation is to take loads of drugs. So he does, and apparently the drugs give him a selfie stick because there's this.
That's weird.
There's this shot which is a really good shot, but makes no sense, that he has the selfie stick and it's a steady cam on him as he's turning and shooting, but all it looks like is Mark Wahlberg running around with a selfie stick.
Max Payne, the vlogger of corporate.
Yes.
The other thing so first of all, that thing where he takes the drugs and the sky turns orange and he lets out the biggest alpha roar I've ever heard. It might be the funniest thing I've ever seen Mark Wahlberg do, and I've seen that happening.
These drugs as well.
There's one that's funnier, sorry. I'll get onto it when Alex makes his point.
These drugs, it's said in the film, and he hears it because it's on a video that he's watching, where it tells them that, the guy tells him that it's about a 1% chance of surviving using this drug. And he goes, oh, well, I've got 2 here. Job's a good one.
Yeah. And the funniest part of Mark Wahlberg's acting in this, there's a bit where Chris O'Donnell is on the phone and he bursts into the office and he doesn't want Chris O'Donnell to make the call. So he runs over to him and he throws the phone against the wall, but it's the most half-assed phone throw you've ever seen.
You would think the phone was like full of weights or something by how little distance it got.
So, sorry, we touched on it before. Tim, how long did you say this movie was?
So the IMDb runtime of this is 1 hour and 42, including credits.
Okay. Mm-hmm. It took me 4 hours to watch this film because at the hour mark, I clicked it and went, oh my God, there's a full hour left. There's a full half hour left. I'm going to pause it there and I'm going to watch a good movie. So I stopped and I watched 2025's Weapons.
So you had a...
Hold on.
You had a palate cleanser.
Weapons is a brilliant film. I would thoroughly recommend you go and watch Weapons. There are some excellent shots. And if you'd rather switch it and I just tell you what Weapons is about, I would feel much more comfortable than talking about Max Payne.
There's a scene in... I know our discussion of the plot points of Max Payne are going to be all over the place, but I think that's very fitting for this movie because it's just all over the place.
We're past the plot points now. We've done that.
There is a part where he goes into evil pharmaceutical company number 8 or whatever, thank you, where his wife worked, and he's got the CEO at gunpoint, and he's just like, we're going to get out of here, and we're going to take that file that I brought in with me. And he steps outside the office, and as soon as he steps outside the CEO's office, the SWAT shoot the CEO, just without any real hostage negotiation. And I'm not expecting this film to have an 8-hour hostage negotiation scene or whatever. But then
you would expect to get down, no.
Yeah, something like that. And then Mark Wahlberg stands there and watches the CEO fall to the floor, contemplates his life for 20 minutes, and then runs off to the side where he would be... I'm sorry, he would not survive that.
He'd be Swiss cheese.
He would be Swiss cheese. And then he does a John Woo dive through a fire door, which was totally unnecessary. And then he ends up running into Ludacris. He's like, Max, you've got to turn yourself in. He's like, I haven't done anything. And then he runs away. But the other thing that really stuck out to me with this movie, because the big mechanic of the Max Payne games is the slow-mo jump diving.
Bullet time. Sure.
Yeah. There is a part where Max is in a warehouse that I can only assume makes sparks, because that's all they ever do in these movies is make sparks. And he's there with a shotgun. So we're watching Mark Wahlberg waddling around in a leather coat with a shotgun. And he stood there, and he's standing there looking at a wall while a pile of drugs is in front of him. And there's suddenly a sniper, and he sees the red dot from the sniper, and he does a cool jump backwards with his shotgun. And the sniper might be the worst shot I've ever seen. Because if the bullets were coming from the side, it might be okay for the sniper to hit the drugs as he's trying to hit Mark Wahlberg when he's diving. However, the sniper is directly behind him, and we know this because Max Payne is diving backwards and aiming behind him. So the sniper is 8 feet to the right of Max Payne. It's the dumbest shit.
Do you know what really got me about that scene? And it's a problem that I have basically with the whole film. They obviously went, do you know what people really liked about Max Payne was the slow-mo? Well, let's just do the slowest slow-mo you've ever seen in your life.
It was...
that
the
whole
jump
sequence
lasted 5 minutes.
But, slow-mo is meant to be there to enhance the action, right?
Yeah.
Look how cool and intricate this is.
Look at this moment.
I'm not joking. The slowest slow-mo that you've ever seen. My God. How do they make an action sequence where someone is diving backwards and firing on a sniper with a shotgun boring?
It was so dull.
You take that shot and put it up against arguably one of the most famous bullet time shots in the world, which is The Matrix. Mm-hmm. It's night and fucking day, and I don't understand how you get it that wrong.
Think about how long the shot of the bullet time in The Matrix lasted.
30 seconds, maybe?
Less than. About 5 seconds. I genuinely think the slow-mo in that sequence lasted 4 or 5 minutes. And it felt like 20.
It was long.
Yeah. With the most incompetent sniper you've ever seen.
So, is it safe to assume then, Tim, that that's your favourite shot of the movie?
No, my favourite shot of the movie has to be when Mark Wahlberg is tripping balls and is stood in an office looking out a window as the SWAT team come in, and he sees what can only be described as vulture people, and I genuinely thought, have I put on Constantine?
We are going to go into that in the next section, because that is one of the things that has really pissed me off with this film.
It's so wrong. It's not even
Joey,
close.
Any standout scenes for you?
So, as a genuine standout scene, although it made no sense in Max Payne. So before I get into my favourite scene, I'm going to have another moan. How can a drug make everyone hallucinate the same thing? That makes no sense at all. The guy that we see, the guy that we see pulled out of the window backwards by the first vulture person we see,
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool shot.
Neat. Good camera tracking.
Doesn't make any sense because it's never mentioned again. It's just like, oh, that guy got pulled out of the window by a demon. Let's move on and go to Starbucks now.
Also, it's a hallucination. The guy had to have jumped backwards to do that.
I also think that, like I said, the shot where he's diving into the icy water and the voiceover, good. That I was so annoyed because the Max Payne game, starting with the murder of his wife and child, really impactful. When they did that, and I saw in the trailer that they have it, I was like, well, that makes no sense having it anywhere but the start because we don't actually care at that point. But they threw it in there, and it should have been a really good scene, but it's not.
Fell flat.
I really liked that they made Wahlberg like the happy-go-lucky police detective who walks up to the wall where it just says baby, and he's like, "Oh, baby," and then he hears the baby crying.
Gee willikers, my day was hard.
Yeah, it was. Oh my god!
Can I talk about one of my favorite bits of dialogue in this entire fucking movie?
Please.
Mark Wahlberg and Mila Kunis, who is also there, go to a shady tattoo shop, and I don't know how they picked this one specifically, but Mark Wahlberg flips through a tattoo book and goes, "What's this one mean?" And he points at some wings because he's seeing a lot of wings everywhere, and one drug user had that wings tattoo. The tattoo artist goes on this massive spiel.
The tattoo artist might have been the most dynamic character in the whole film
by far. Yeah.
But he goes, "Oh yeah, that's a Valkyrie. It's part of it's a protection thing that the Vikings had." And then he whips out a tome, like just an old leather-bound book, like covered in dust. Now keep in mind, he's not in a library, he's in like a seedy tattoo parlor. And he just flicks through it and just bam, first page open, there's a Valkyrie. And he goes on this whole rant about it. And Mark Wahlberg says, "You said protection. Protection from what?" And the tattoo guy says, "Huh?" And Mark Wahlberg says, "What do you mean, huh?"
It was
Peak dialogue.
Weird. I feel like that bit wasn't scripted. It was just ad lib, and they went, "Ah, fuck it. We need to pad the runtime, leave it in." Right. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go
forward to this next question, Alex.
I'm going to go on to the Valkyrie thing because the next bit we're going to look at is how the game differs, and I'm going to start with this.
Way.
Yeah, well, yeah. So it's... The first thing I've noted here is the film is loosely based on the game to the point that Scott Miller, who was the co-producer of the first game, made a public statement against the film.
Do you know, it's I looked this up. It was Rockstar that acquired the rights to Max Payne whilst this game... Whilst this film was being made. And they were so against it that when the film said, "We'll pay you loads of money to share the source material with us and all of the backstory and access to the people who made it," Rockstar were like, no way at all. Which is why they just kind of made up loads of stuff about Valkyries rather than actually talk to the people that made the game.
So, here it is, right? Throughout the game and the movie, there are loose connections to Norse mythology. That is just... It was the same in the game as it was in the movie. The company Azar, obviously, that is named for the tribe of gods that Thor and Odin and Frigg came from, one of the two main tribes of the gods in Norse mythology. This company Azar, named for these gods, are making a drug called Valkyr, which is obviously a reference to the Valkyries, who are the female warriors in Norse mythology who are said to guide the souls of worthy fallen soldiers to Valhalla, which is loosely what the drug kind of does, because it's picking the worthy soldiers that it's being tested on and giving them humane superpowers to continue the fight for eternity, similar to what happens in the halls of Valhalla.
Mm.
At no point in any Norse mythology ever, no matter where you look, the Valkyries are never described as demonic creatures. Because that's what they are in this. Those demonic creatures in this film are meant to be representations of the Valkyries. But they've obviously decided that we need to make this seem like a bad thing because drugs are bad and it's causing really bad hallucinations. Let's make them demons for some fucking stupid reason.
I can tell this has really pissed you off, Alex.
It just really irked me because they could have just left it at hallucinations, and they could have just I don't know, they could have just said it's hallucinations and just made them weird, non-specific visions and shadow monsters, made it different for everyone. Because as you say, it makes absolutely no sense that every single person who's taken this drug is having the exact same hallucination. It would have made more sense if everyone had a different hallucination rather than this really desperate tie to the Valkyries that they've made.
Even if you wanted to make it like different hallucinations of different Norse gods, for example, and give it like a tying theme, sure, it'd be a little silly because obviously that would imply that hallucinations have a theme. It would be something interesting for the movie to do and not just go, what if we got the visuals of Constantine to kill Mila Kunis' sister?
I mean, even if they made out that these hallucinations were all sort of like angelic beings like the Valkyrie were depicted, that would make more sense. But they've basically gone, right, so this drug is made by a company named for the Norse gods. It's named after the Valkyries. Let's make them see shadow demons. It doesn't tie in.
Doesn't tie in,
and
at all.
It's just stupid.
It's really dumb.
It's ridiculous. Tim, any other differences that you've noticed between the game and the movie? Apart from the game was good and the movie was crap?
I don't remember Ludacris being in the video games, I'll give you that.
Ludacris was definitely in the video games.
Yeah.
Ludacris is in every video game if you imagine hard enough.
If you take enough Valkyrie, you'll see him.
Do you know, on the casting, I think Ludacris was way left field. But Mila Kunis, right? I think Mila Kunis is a really good actor. But when she's trying to be badass, all I can hear is Meg Griffin. And it makes it really hard to take her seriously.
Yeah.
The other thing I noticed about the cast on this, you could tell, so harping back to Scooby-Doo, right? When you watch Scooby-Doo, that was in this episode. It wasn't in. Yeah, it was in this episode.
Yeah, it was this episode. Yeah.
So when you watch Scooby-Doo and you think something's going to happen in this scene because that door is painted slightly differently to the rest of the background. When Chris O'Donnell was in the film, it was like, well, he's not going to be good because he's a bad guy and he's in this and he's in charge of the people. So you just knew the second that Chris O'Donnell was in it, he was like the bad boy. And same with Beau Bridges as well. Like, if you're casting him in there in fairly non-roles for most of the film, they're always going to be the bad guy.
They're going to be the bad guys, yeah. On the topic of Ludacris, it was one of the things I was trying to remember back at the start. That role that he was playing, that detective, Lieutenant Jim Bravura, that was originally written to be a 60-year-old detective, like a grizzled former detective kind of guy. But then Ludacris auditioned for it, and the co-director went, "You're in." So they completely changed the character because Ludacris.
Was Ludacris even that? Like, I wasn't keeping a track of his popularity in 2008. Was he particularly popular then?
Yeah, I think so.
Probably. He didn't do a bad job of playing the character at all, but it just, like you say, it was just very out of left field considering the rest of the cast.
Such a hard left turn.
But here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. Joey, any other differences from the game other than weird demon monsters and Ludacris?
I mean, the whole thing. It's not a Max Payne movie. It's just not at all.
After that little intermission where I'm sure I'll put some funny music or something, the big question for you both, is it a good adaptation of the video game?
Nope. No.
Those are two big head shakes right there.
When you said, is it a good, you could have stopped there. It is not a good anything.
No. Bad movie.
Why not?
It's dollars dishwater. Like, the thing that the film the biggest sin a film can commit to me is to be boring, because it's supposed to be a piece of entertainment. And this was so dull from start to finish.
It was, but also I think it's the added insult that it's not just a film that's dull. It's taken from a franchise which is bombastically stupid and over the top. Like Max Payne absolutely prided itself on like really cheesy detective, film noir, comic book style ridiculousness. And this film thought, do you know who screams bombastic and over the top?
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg. It's not a good video game movie. And I am amazed that anyone watched it and thought, well, let's do another one.
And another.
It feels like it couldn't make its mind up that whether it wanted to be a film noir kind of investigation film or it wanted to be a action cop film. And in a result of not knowing that, it did both jobs poorly.
Or just didn't do either.
Well, it didn't do either at all. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups apparently. It just didn't do either, and it was just... It could have been really good.
2 reviews here that perfectly sum up the movie.
Ruh-roh.
There's one that just says, we have Jason Bourne at home. And there's one here that says, you've heard of Sim City, now get ready for Dim City. Thank you, Letterboxd. You are a treasure as always.
So, pretty safe to say, bad adaptation.
Yeah.
How could it be better? And don't just say everything.
Well, they could have drawn more properly from the fucking source material for a start. I mean, I get they're trying to appeal to people with like a not too intricate conspiracy plot, but the point of Max Payne is that he is sleep deprived and up to his knees in conspiracy theory.
They could have dropped the supernatural. They could have made it very clear what his motives were and the emotional connection to him losing his wife and child are very early in the film. And then they could have made it an action film that had lots of action in it rather than 50 minutes of Mark Wahlberg complaining until we got some shooting at the end, but the shooting was done in exceptionally slow motion. I know you said not everything, but I think to make this film better, you need to tear it up and start again.
Yeah. Good. What about you, Alex?
From the outset, they needed to know what they wanted to be. They could have said, we want to be a film noir movie. Great. We want to be an over-the-top cop action film. Great. We want to be an action film with some elements of the supernatural tied in. Great. Do one of those 3. Pick one of those 3 and stay in that lane. Yeah. Don't jump from each lane and fucking hit every car on the way.
Can you imagine owning an IP in 2008 and someone says, we're going to make a movie about it, starring Mark Wahlberg, Mila Kunis, Beau Bridges, Chris O'Donnell.
Ludacris.
And then Ludacris is a left field turn. But saying we've got all these stars signed up, it's going to be ultra stylized. Can we get involved? And them knowing it's so bad before it's even begun that they're like, no chance whatsoever.
It'd be bad.
How badly have you got to mess that up?
Seems bad.
I mean, that is our word of the day. Bad.
B-A-D. Bad. What else was Mark Wahlberg doing around that time?
Well, I've seen a lot of comments saying that Mark Wahlberg in The Other Guys is more Max Payne than he is in Max Payne.
I think I saw The Other Guys, but I think I might have watched it on a plane several years ago.
The Other Guys is a really good film.
The same year he did The Happening.
I mean, The Happening is another one that's questionable.
Mm-hmm. Well, he tried his best, didn't he, I guess, but...
Well, but the problem is, in this film, he didn't.
Well, no, he didn't.
I don't think Mark Wahlberg is a bad actor. I really don't. I think this is just a terrible direction performance for him.
Yes. It was bad writing and it was bad directing. Now, there's one thing in every movie, there's one thing that you can put in a movie that'll instantly make it incredible. Where are we putting Christopher Walken?
I would like Christopher Walken to play the main villain.
The Pino?
Yeah, exactly.
That was my exact same thought, because, like, I know he has no lines in the film, or very few. He's got a little bit on a videotape, and that's about it. But just the idea of Christopher Walken on a roof looking down on someone like...
I want Christopher Walken to play the demonic angel people.
Get over here.
All of them, though. That's the point.
Come with us to heaven.
We're going to heaven.
That's good.
Would you watch it if it went, and starring as the Valkyries, Christopher Walken?
It would be like, do you guys ever see the American Death Note movie when they announced Willem Dafoe was playing Ryuk, the Shin Megami?
Yes.
I watched that movie. Piece of shit movie, by the way, but Willem Dafoe wasn't the worst cast in it. I honestly think Willem Dafoe would enhance this movie, and not for a good way. Not.
Do you know, you asked the question, if they said, and Christopher Walken as all of the Valkyries, would you make you watch it again?
I would never leave.
I said yes, but I think my problems would be completely turned the other way around. I'd be going, why do we not have more Valkyrie scenes? Where is there not more hallucinogenic drug scenes?
The whole review would do a complete 180. That would be brilliant.
It would.
Good.
All right, well, after that, I think Max Payne is a good title for the film.
Yeah.
It's not, though. It's like Max... Well, if you're an insomniac... This film might help.
It's Max
Max Penis, there you go.
Max Penis.
This is not an avenue I want to go down. I don't want to talk about Tim's Max Penis. Tim, what are we watching in 4 weeks' time?
What are we watching in 4 weeks' time? I should probably get the schedule up, really. To take
Mortal Kombat!
Yeah, it's Mortal Kombat, the 2021 film, not the Too Bad You Will Die one. It's the...
Why are we watching it if it's not the Too Bad You Will Die?
Because there's a new one coming out this month being October at the time of recording, and I want to watch it. Yeah, there's a new one. It's out on October 24th. Same day as the Chainsaw Man movie.
There's a Chainsaw Man movie?
Yeah, it's covering the second arc of the manga.
Let's not turn this into bat. We've got two lovely blokes that do that already.
Yeah. All right.
Two lovely baps.
Two bloody lovely baps.
Bloody lovely baps. Right. We'll see you guys in a few weeks for more Kombat.
We'll see you then.
Tim, is it bad?
No, it's good. It's good.
Okay.
We need a good one after the run of shit we've had.
We'll just watch Weapons again. It'll be fine.
Oh, hold on. Weapons is great.
I wanted to see it in cinemas, but we just didn't get the time. Good. Thank you. All right, I'll see you in a few weeks, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Oh, Tim's got the something or other.
No, I don't. Oh.
Joey got the popcorn ready. Alex got the notes in hand. Tim's got puns that fly like confetti. They're your go-to movie band. Video game movie club. Laugh until the credits roll. Joey Alex, Tim will dub. Scenes that make you lose control.
That's a band I'd go and see.
Yeah. Bye.
Alex, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to make an editing point for you here. I just need to disappear for 2 minutes, but then I'll be back. Sorry.
Oh, good. I'm going to use this as a wee break.
Me too.
In a minute.
I heard your toilet flush, Tim. We finished at the same time.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Isn't that lovely?
Right. What I want.
So tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. I want to have. Really, really, really want to zig ah.
If you want to be my lover,
you better get in my van.
You'll be in here forever.
That's the master plan.
Yours works better, to be fair.
Yeah.